Okay, Math 1, Section 11. We are finding missing terms, multiple missing terms for arithmetic and geometric sequences. So, starters, we need to, or you should highlight, or you should make note, you should underline something, that the front page here is arithmetic sequences. The second page is geometric sequences. So you need to pay attention to that whenever you're working on your homework on whether or not you're doing an arithmetic or a geometric sequence. So we're dealing with arithmetic sequences right here, and we're going to do it a lot like what we did with, I don't know, what was it, 2 sections ago? To get from 16 to this blank, we're going to add D. To get from this blank to this blank, we add D. And then to get from this blank to 106, we add another D. Right? Last time we only had one blank. This time we have two blanks. So we're going to set up our equation again. We're going to have 16 plus D plus D plus D is 106. Right, we have 3 D's now. So 16 plus 3D is 106. If I subtract 16 from both sides, I get 3D equals 90. And I divide by 3D is 30. So to find the first blank, I take 16 plus 30, because that's our difference, and I get 46. So that's my first answer. To get my second blank, I take 46 plus D. Oh, well, I'll just plug in what D is. D is 30, and I get, what is that, 4, 5, 6, 7, 76? And I get 76. All right, same process, just a little bit longer. So let's look at number 2. Here we're going to add D here, add there, and add it there. So you have 3. So we're going to have negative 8 plus 3D is negative 68. So 3D is negative 60, and D is negative 20. So to get the first blank, I'm going to take negative 8 minus 20 gives me negative 28. And then to find the second blank, I take negative 28 minus 20, and I get negative 48. Right? So my sequence would read here like negative 8, negative 28, negative 48, negative 68. Right? If I were to actually write them in order. All right, number 3. Again, we're going to have 3 differences here, or 3 D's. So you have negative 8 plus 3D is 1. I add 8 and I get 3D equals 9, and then D equals 3 whenever I divide. So to get my first blank, I'm going to say, well, negative 8 plus 3 is negative, what is that, 8, 7, 6, 5, negative 5. And to get my second blank, I'm going to say, well, negative 5 plus 3 is going to be negative 2. And I don't know if I've mentioned this in one of the other videos, but there's an easy way to check yourself here. If you look at the negative 2 right here, if we add another 3 to it, if we were to do this, you don't have to do this. Negative 2 plus 3 gives us 1, which is what we should have up there. So that's just a good way to check yourself to see if you've made an error. Okay, last up. Well, last of this section. So from negative 35 plus 3D is 25. I add my 35 to the other side. And is that going to be 60? Yeah, 3D is 60. So D is 20. So to get my first blank, I'll take negative 35 plus 20 is negative 15. And then to get my second blank, I'll take negative 15 plus 20 is 5. And like what I said in last problem, you can check yourself really easily, and a lot of the time you can just kind of check yourself in your head. So I'm going to look at this guy here, this 5, and I'm going to add 20 to it, and I get 25, which is what I should get. So that's a good thing to just a good routine to get into. All right, so that is arithmetic. Now we need to move on to geometric. Geometric, remember, we're multiplying, so we're going to have to do some things a little bit differently. So here, we're going to deal with multiplying by r 3 times. So we're going to have negative 2 times r times r times r is negative 432. This is really going to be negative 2r cubed, right? Whenever there's a little 3 in the exponent, you call that cubed, right? So like this thing here, this is squared, okay? This is cubed, okay? It's not r3. Don't call it r3, call it r cubed, or r to the third. You can say that also. All right, we divide by negative 2, and we get r cubed is 2, is that 16? 16, 216? Let me type that in just to make sure. Yep, 216. Now, normally we would take a square root here to undo it. Now we need to do a cubed root, and this might be the first time that you've seen a cubed root before. If you've never done a cubed root in your calculator, you should pause the video now, and you should go on YouTube and just Google how to cube root, and then type in whatever calculator you have, okay? For me, it's the TI-30X. It's the, I don't know, the standard one. A lot of people have the blue one version of it. And to do it, I press the second button, and then I press the caret, which is a caret. That's a caret. I don't know why it's called a caret, but it is. It's on the left side above the x squared button. So in my calculator, I press 3 second, oh, let me say that different. Second, caret, and then I type in 216. This would be what I would type into my calculator to get the answer. So I have 3 second, caret, 216, and I got 6. R equals 6. All right, so R equals 6. So now we're going to find our first blank. We have negative 2 times 6 equals negative 12. There's our first answer. And then for our next one, we're going to have negative 12 times 6 equals, what is that? That's 72? Yeah, 72. And it's a negative 72. And then just to check yourself, I can't do these quite as easily in my head, but we can say, well, negative 72 times 6, and I'm going to type that in my calculator, and I get negative 432, which is what I should get. All right, let's move on to number 6. We have a times r here, a times r here, and a times r there. So we're going to have 1r cubed, right, because we have 3 r's, is 125. The 1 doesn't really matter, so we have r cubed is 125. We take our cube root. And what the cube root is really saying is, what could you multiply 3 times to get 125? And this is one of the few cube roots that I can do in my head. I can say, well, 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So r is 5. So now, my first blank is 1 times 5 equals 5. And my second blank is 5 times 5 is 25. All right, let's look at number 7. Here's times r, here's times r, and here's times r. So we have negative 3r cubed is negative 24. If we divide by 3, or by negative 3, we get r cubed is 8. And 8 is another one of those that I don't know if I've memorized it or if I'm able to just do it in my head, but 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So that means that r is 2. So we're going to say, well, negative 3, let's find this blank, negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And then to find the second blank, we take negative 6 times 2 is negative 12. And there we are. And then again, in our head, we could probably say, well, negative 12 times 2 is negative 24, just to double check ourselves. All right, last one. Here's times r, here's times r, and here's times r. So we're going to take negative 2r cubed is negative 54. Divide by 2 and r cubed is, or we're dividing by negative 2, excuse me. And we got 27. And 27 is also one of those that I've kind of memorized. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So r equals 3. And we get negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And then we take negative 6 times 3 is negative 20. Is that 21? No, it's 18. Good grief. Negative 18. And then just to check myself, I'm going to say, well, negative 18 times 3, 18 times 3 is negative 54. So we're in the clear. It's supposed to be a check mark. And just to review or to show what we're doing, we are finding that the sequence is negative 2, negative 6, negative 18, negative 54, right? If we wanted to write it in order, we could. All right, that's that. Again, if you don't know how to type in the cubed root, go on YouTube and search how to cubed root on whatever your calculator is. And there's all kinds of videos out there. All right, that's it.